Good evening, everyone. Ragewood here with the Dragonheir Silent Gods video. Now, I apologise for the gap in content. I have recently been on a stag do where I had lots of fun, but obviously no time or even a PC really to record stuff. So I am aware I am 4 or 5 days behind now. Not too long ago, I released a video looking at some S4 Season 4 heroes with the spoilers before we could look at the abilities. So today I'm now going to essentially redo that, and we can look at what they actually do this time round. Some of them I have had a quick chance to play with to get a sort of brief overview, if you will. But there'll be more videos coming out soon looking at the actual results of those tests, etc. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So we are starting off with Paxton. He is a burn hero and arguably one of the coolest looking one, as did to S4 riding his horse. He has an enlightenment aura. It is 90, which is a big number, but it's only in City of Trial, so it's only in your Famiander and your Pillars, so do bear that in mind. He is passive. He deals 5 damage to nearby enemies every 3 seconds, with a 75% chance to inflict burn. When any target is inflicted with burn, the hero gains morale up to 20 stacks. When he gets to 20 stacks, he grants it to all burn allies. So similar to an Ardreth here, alright. A morale increase in the attack, which is very nice. Burns themselves do derivative damage, so they scale off attack and enlightenment and can't crit. So this is a nice kind of sort of passive, which I believe is undispellable. Similar to Ardreth's. Battle skill. 3,000 enlightenment fire damage to nearby enemies when hitting enemies with burn. Next battle skills recharge is reduced by 50%. That is strong. That is strong. And then his ultimate full board deals damage to enemies, chance to inflict burn. Hitting enemies under burn, it deals an additional derivative fire damage. Okay, this is interesting. So you're going to want to build him heavy enlightenment, obviously. To get the most out of his damage by the looks of it. And I mean, I don't have any of the original burn legendaries, so it's hard for me to comment, but my guess would be perhaps he is an enabler with this morale for everyone else, but I could be wrong. I mean, 3,000 battle skill, like that's a big ass number, so maybe he is a damage dealer, maybe you want to reduce the battle skill, but at a glance, looks like an enabler. Now the other burn legendary we've got is Majtan. Now she is a hero that's similar to Durango, but for burn. She has a 45% Grand Gladiator Arena aura, which is nice. Passive. She deals damage to enemies as the battle starts, with a 100% chance of inflicting burn. I do, again, similar to Durango. When burn is inflicted on any enemies expired or is dispelled, she gains 1 stack of sparkle. Up to 30 stacks. For each stack of sparkle, she gains damage reduction, so up to 15%. And she ignores up to, while the hero's skill ignores 3% of the defense. That can stack up to 30 times, so does that stack up to 30 times? Because that could ignore 90% defense. God, I hope that is not. Alright, and there's a 6% chance for basic attacks to inflict burn. Yeah, that's the bit I thought. I heard you have to just reread that. So potentially she's going to smack like really hard. She gains 25% max HP in healing. That's nice. The enemy who possesses most stacks burn grants the same amount of sparkle to the hero, up to 5 stacks. Okay, nice. Get those stacks quicker. Then the hero deals fire damage to the enemy with most stacks of burn. Okay, nice. And then Blossom in the Sand deals damage to all nearby enemies. If enemies possess burn, she gains 20% attack up. The burn inflicted by the fire in stone ignores resistance for the next 15 seconds, so that's that thing. Okay. Also a little bit of enabler with the attack up, but you know, she seems like she's going to be more of a damage dealer, ignoring defense and getting those basic attacks in. So perhaps you want the new Dominator set on her, and we'll obviously look at that in another video. But again, another at least sounds strong. Moving on to Frost then, so we've got these two heroes, Feliciberta. Again, you got to give it up to the design team. You know, it looks wicked with her rapier right there, sort of like a fencing kind of Renaissance kind of style, sort of adds a bit of flair, really like that. Also has an arena aura. Now, as about to start, she inflicts a Datura mark on the enemy with the highest attack. When an enemy under that mark dies, it resets the target. When enemies under the Datura mark gain a buff, she reduces the recharge time of the battle skill. Reduces the recharge time of her battle skill by 20%, and the hero recharges ultimate energy by 20%. Reduces the recharge time of the hero's battle skill and the hero recharge. So that's interesting. I mean, it's slightly poorly worded. I'm unsure if that is both her battle skill and her ultimate that gets charged, or if she's reducing the recharge time of theirs. No, that wouldn't make sense. Must be both of hers, which is cool. So she could potentially, every time they get a buff, sort of cycle through, which is nice. Jumps to the enemy with the highest attack, removes their shield, great for arena, steals one right after them, great. In attacking enlightenment, cold damage, don't get that, okay. And ignores 50% of the resistance when hitting enemies under frozen. She steals their shield instead of removing it. How often are you going to have a frozen target? I don't know. The only heroes really used in PvP is, or at least from my perspective, is Vinyara and Lucian, which is a single target. Lucian's on a battle skill as well. There's no guarantee it's going to be the same target, so you might not get much fun stealing the shields, unless you perhaps get Aladia's ultimate off. And her ultimate, again, Enlightenment, I don't get it, but there you go. Attack and Enlightenment to enemies within range, 75% chance to expose on them, 5 seconds, that's cool. The effect ignores resistance by a percentage, which is nice. The frozen inflicted by the skill also blocks enemies from resurrection. That's cool, especially against sort of those Mithrasian comps and I forget her name. Poison Epic Reviver. Ignoring percentage of the defense is nice as well. So the resistance is nice because you don't need to build so much accuracy. I imagine this is going to be a hero you're probably going to want to put the slingshot on, which, if some of you remember, is the accuracy artifact we got in Season 3, where for every 1 accuracy you have, it increases your attack by, I think it was 8, so early on it was like a really strong artifact, so again, could be a very nice addition to this lady, so she can continue to do damage and still land her stuff. Myro. So this is one guy I had done a lot of testing on already. Unfortunately, he's not amazing, but he certainly looks cool. Map Master Myro with his giant ass pipe, glowing when he has a smoke. If he possesses an ice crystal after releasing the battle skill, he can shoot 1 stack and releases the battle skill again, which is nice. When attacking enemies, every stack of map PM the hero grants the current attack extra crit damage. So you can go up to 100% crit damage, and he also ignores 60% of the defense when they are under 5 pins. Those pins don't wear off, there's no cooldown on that, so once you get there, they are there, which is nice. Really going to be better in Vortex. But he is outshone by Gerthin and the new Ice Blast Epic. The hero's basic attacks will hit enemies with the highest map pins first. Battle skill deals damage and inflicts 1 stack of map pin. And his ultimate, he deals cold damage and converts 25% of damage dealt to HP, so he's got some self-sustain, which is nice. Every step of map pin on enemy increases the conversion by 5%, so it can be up to 50% of the damage he deals. He gets healed back, which is nice, so he just doesn't deal tons of damage. Going to continue to cycle through the legendaries, and then we'll wrap round for the epics. Necrosis. Now, Necrosis arguably has two of the sickest looking heroes. Perseus being the first one. Some people I have heard say he looks like something from like Stranger Things. Others have said he looks like a monster from like Resident Evil. Never seen either of those, so I can't comment. But the aesthetic is certainly wicked. Fallen Poison. Basic attacks deal damage twice. It's nice. When dealing damage to enemies with skills, there's a 100% chance of inflicting Fallen Poison. What does it do? Decrease the attack and attack speed. So certainly a PvP hero. Again, someone you might want in a Dominator set for the attack speed. Also will perhaps pair well in a Dauntless team where they take damage after the fact, but not for this season. That would be for season 3, which will now be season 6. But yeah, okay, passive battle skill. Deals damage to nearby enemies 4 times and reduces their ultimate by 25%. So potentially he's going to reduce the ultimate energy by 100%, which is obviously very good if you have the accuracy to do it. Although you look at the range, he is going to need to be in the thick of things. So, you know, in arena, potentially, depending on how many tanks they've got, you could just be hitting 1 person, you might be hitting 3. Remains to be seen how good this is. I haven't had a chance to test this guy yet, but potentially sounds great. The ultimate then, he rushes to an enemy and strikes them 12 times, dealing damage. There's a 100% chance to dispel all buffs from them, and a 75% chance to inflict stun on them, and a 75% chance to put buff prohibition on them. The hero gains max HP, healing simultaneously. The enemy's HP limit will be reduced by 20% of the damage dealt, no more than 40%. So this is nice, reducing total HP, especially in the arena meta where it's like Garius with staff and heal. He'll only be able to heal so much, so this might be a counter to that. But he will hit the highest attack first, so yeah, on paper, looks really good. In practice, you know, who knows at this stage. Then we come to Astion. Again, super cool sort of lizard folk with a staff. Defense in defense and arena. Oh, by the way, we didn't look at his aura. Max HP in all battles, which is nice. But yeah, defense in arena. I really like this guy. At the battle starts, the hero has a 100% chance to inflict silence for 10 seconds on the nearest enemy. So essentially going to delay their battle skill, because most ultimates won't have recharged by then. And they take sort of 12 seconds on the initial rotate, so you'll stop battle skills, not ultimates. He also steals 30% of their HP and their defense, and 50% of those stolen attributes will be given to your damage dealers. Again, this is great. Don't need to tell you how that this is good for keeping your squishies alive at the back. Also, you know, in the arena you've got jumpers who attack people with the lowest HP, lowest defense. That might help mitigate that and encourage those jumpers to go elsewhere. Yeah, it's just a nice passive. Battle skill, straight line shooter like Filto and a few others, with a chance to inflict stun. So on offense this will be good, on defense less so because they can just position out the way. But it does grant crit hit resistance to the ally with the highest attack. So again, you're protecting your squishies here, stopping them from taking as much damage. And the hero recharges ultimate energy by 5% upon hitting 1 enemy. Now, it doesn't specify, it only happens once. So you manage to hit all 5, potentially getting 25% of your ultimate gauge back, which is nice. And crit damage resistance is something new that we've not seen. There's a couple of instances on the S4 heroes. Less good in PvE because bosses don't generally crit, but for PvP this is nice. And then the last one, then the ultimate skill, summons a domain that lasts 10 seconds, similar to Zaloth, for those of you that have him. dealing damage to enemies with every 1 second. He heals all allies by 3.5% max HP. That's not their max HP, that is his, which is great. When enemies within range gain a buff, he has a chance to replace it with a random debuff. I imagine those random debuffs are going to be these ones just here. But this is sick. Zarlov sort of sized ultimate. You pack this guy full of HP and accuracy, so he's landing these, and it will heal your squishies. Again, both Necro heroes seem to be PvP focused, although this guy could be used in PvE. You know, if he's got 100k HP, you know, over that 10-second period on his ultimate, he's going to be hitting 35k. That could be a full health refill on your squishy hero, so again, just really nice. Moving on to Radiance, only a couple added here. The first one, Shalar. Now, Shalar is interesting because she's got a really high base crit rate, so obviously going to be a damage dealer here, okay? The downside is she is an aura hero, and aura has left a lot to be desired since its release. Can she flip the script? Can she be the one to help out? Who knows? But she does have attack in all battles, so very nice aura. She's got the same thing. She enters the base state when she gets to 100. And then when aura allies consume aura energy, recharges 5% ultimate energy and grants 1 stack of crit damage up to the aura ally with the most attack, and Shalar herself up to 20 stacks. So this, I don't know, like recharges the ultimate energy and gains 1 stack of crit damage up to 20 stacks. So you're gonna get 20% attached damage, 20% crit damage, which is fine. Do you get 100% ultimate energy? I'd assume not, because it specifies stacks. But again, just put maybe like a comma here, Debs. Stop trying to confuse us. This effect can be triggered once every 5 seconds. So yeah, you got your Aven Lader. She's going to enable your Aven Lader, which is great. But yeah, it's just aura. She gains 15 aura energy, deals damage to the enemy and nearby enemies. So you'd assume this will center on someone and then go out from the square from there. The hero gains 10 aura energy when hitting only one enemy, so you want to encourage, obviously, multiple hits. This screams Goblin, this screams New Venom, PvE as well, maybe. While in the base state, she consumes 5 aura energy and deals max HP radiant damage. Sounds great on paper, but we've all seen a lot of the bosses don't have like a huge max HP, so she doesn't do huge damage. Potentially, once again, higher stages of Fae, where the stats are buffed up a bit, but yeah, still not convinced. The hero gains 30 energy and releases an energy wave that can bounce between enemies up to 4 times. I think this is like Olgox, where it goes, or Vidimir, but it doesn't show it up here. If the energy wave does not bounce after being released, 40% of the consumed ultimate energy will be returned. That's nice. While in the base state, consumes 20 aura energy, so you're going to get, what, 8 of that back, maybe? To deal max HP, and the bounce number is increased to 6. Yeah, sounds like she's going to smack. Aura just needs a change in general. I've put a video out back in Season 3 where I was saying it's not as bad as it, you might think. And truth be told, it's not early on. Aim and Lader, the exclusive, doesn't need any crit rate at all, which is very nice. You can just pump her for the crit damage. She's always going to smack. But outside of that, like the Nertathea Hein sucked for the free-to-play players. Diantha is nice. Diantha is a good support for Aura. Linkos isn't. So there you go. Ymir, however you say it. First exclusive we're going to see in Season 4. He is a non-artifact exclusive though, so similar to Berengar, Chrysos, Grishnar, those heroes from Season 1. he is that kind of exclusive. So, crit damage in arena just screams PvP at you already, doesn't it? Passive, for every 15 times of damage dealt or taken by the hero and his clones, they will enter an undispellable invisibility. A clone will be summoned at the same time. At the start of the battle, gains invisibility and summons a clone. Up to 5 clones can be on the battlefield at the same time. So potentially, if you've got 5 clones out in an arena fight, and they all attack once and then take damage once, that's going to give you sort of 10 times, as it were, I imagine. Or is it 20? I don't know. But it does give him some survivability, which is nice. His battle skill, Omnipresent Me, places a clone near the enemy with the highest attack. Deals radiant damage to nearby enemies with the clone as the centre. And puts Taunt out. This is going to be so annoying in arena. Which also makes it really good. You know, just stalling their damage dealers. Or even just one, perhaps stalling the Voresh, so that the Sigrid goes before he does, and then she doesn't hit your AoE. So this is a very disruptive champion on paper. The ultimate jumps the target area, dealing damage, places attack down. It's very nice. Meanwhile, he gains attack speed up for 10 seconds and enhances his base attacks for 12 seconds. In this period, they will do radiant damage to enemies twice and heal the hero and all clones. So he's got some self-sustain as well. Again, perhaps you want a Dominator set on this to increase the attack speed on that even further. But yeah, this guy, I feel like is going to be the bane of arena, or at least one of them. Will it stand up to perhaps Shadow, which is the recent meta, and Espouter doing damage? Probably not. He probably ends up dying before he can become disruptive, but we shall wait and see. 4 more to go then. Thanks for sticking with me. The first one is in the Lightning, is the second exclusive, the second and final exclusive for this season, Mushtour. Now, Mushtour has max HP in Arena. Probably not going to use that very often. His ultimate is a wordy one. As the battle starts, he grants Great River Favour to the ally with the highest crit damage. The ally under this gains a 10% max HP shield for 5 seconds when taking damage. And Master takes 60% of that damage instead. So, PvE and PvP, this is great, keeping your squishy damage dealer alive. This can take effect every 12 seconds. When taking damage for the ally, he recharges his ultimate energy by 20% and has a 100% chance to inflict taunt on the enemy with the most ultimate energy for 3 seconds. Now, taunt is going to be less of a thing in PvE, but the recharging the ultimate energy is great. I do have a Thunderbolt video coming out soon with the recent heroes, doing Venom 9 with this guy, Pacunte Undolfena. And yeah, it's great. He can get his ultimate off first, put some debuffs down, also helping keep Pacunte alive. So this is going to be a really nice hero for many seasons to come. Also, if his HP is higher than the enemy's, the debuff inflicted cannot be resistant, and that's going to be a common theme throughout his kit. So his battle skill then, he deals damage on attack and based on his max HP. So again, you really want to pack HP on this guy. To the enemy with the most ultimate energy, and reduces their ultimate energy by 20%. Just gravy, really nice. Again, will work in both PvP and PvE. The enemy's ultimate energy is still higher than 50%. After being reduced, there's a 100% chance to inflict stun on them. Doesn't work on bosses because it can't be controlled. If Master's HP is higher than the enemy's, the debuff inflicted cannot be resisted. You're going to pack him full of HP. He's going to be just a great hero, even in PvP. Afterwards, him and the ally with his passive will choose to will choose this enemy as the target to attack. So it's going to sort of change targets there. How relevant that is for basic attacks? Maybe if you're a Dauntless Hero or Shadow, less so if you are an AoE damage dealer. Then his ultimate strikes the enemy 3 times, with each strike dealing damage based on max HP and attack. The first strike inflicts attack down, the second one inflicts recharge, the third one inflicts attack penalty. If his HP is higher than enemies, debuff cannot be resisted, so you do not need to put him in accuracy, as you've probably seen by now, which is great, because you can pump him full of HP. You can put maybe like the Black Visage, which gives him some accuracy if you want to, but yeah, really it's not going to be needed. You're going to put something like Blast Jar on him, something like that, to help him survive. He also grants control immunity and crit hit resistance for 10 seconds to all allies. If the enemy is defeated or possesses 3 or more debuffs, he grants a shield to ally under the Great River's favour. So again, just keeping your squishy damage dealer alive. Really great tank, one that I'm looking forward to hopefully pulling myself, and something that Lightning sort of really needed. They didn't really have many sort of tank options. You got Stangem and Fathom down in Season 3, but yeah, this guy, very nice. Then we have Orfena. Now, this is the test server, so she is stuck in this pose. Her head has also fallen off a few times when I've spun her around, and when I use her in Venom, she doesn't move. But don't let that fool you. She is putting Thunderbolt on the map. She is exactly what Pacunte needed to make him relevant. She has an Enlightenment aura in all battles, which is very nice because Thunderbolt procs are derivative. Her passive, when dealing damage to enemies for basic attacks, she has a 75% chance to refresh Electrocuted and launch Thunderbolt on them. Thunderbolt triggers Electrocuted. So you can sort of see where this is going. You want to build her with attack speed similar to a Dauntless Hero, with some accuracy to get those Thunderbolt triggers. Her battle skill: she strikes the enemy 3 times, dealing damage and having a 60% chance to put Electrocute on them. When enemies are under Electrocuted already, the damage ignores 30% of their defense. And as you can see at the top here, what does it do? Deals derivative damage and up to 4 additional targets. Yeah, just great. And she works really well in Venom as well. At least what I've built her. My fastest time has been 45 seconds, which isn't the quickest, but it is better than it was previously. Her ultimate then, she enters an overload state and gains attack speed up for 15 seconds. While in the overload state, basic attacks shoot an extra 2 bullets, each bullet prioritizing a different target. So this comes into sort of pairs nicely with this. Well done, developers, for creating some decent synergy. You know, I've put the Wine Goblet on her to give her more attack speed and crit rate when she casts this ultimate, so she's going boo, 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 boo. And I suppose the best part is she can keep Pacunte's overload stacks up to 30 before he does his ultimate again, at least in boss fights. That was the one thing he was missing. He could never get up to 30. Nissa and Shinacton were not enough. This is exactly what they needed. So now, is AoE going to be useful in Season 4? Probably not. So Pacunte might stay in a few vaults, but he can come out. So Orfena, great hero. Then our last 2 legendary heroes. I'm going to not go over the epics after this. That'll be another video, because this one has gone on for a while. Halramar. Prizes for coolest looking, potentially. He is wicked. He has a resistance aura in all battles similar to Torin. As the battle starts, he summons Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud is the Raven, I guess we'll call it. Raven, Crow, Vulture. Looks like a Raven. He cannot gain attack speed, but Dark Cloud will launch additional attacks following his basic attacks. Dark Cloud has 10% chance to inflict buff prohibition on enemies. I do not know if this needs accuracy or not, or whether it is just 10% all the time, every time. Something like that I will need to test. The chance of inflicting buff prohibition by Dark Cloud depends on Halramar's resistance. Every 10 resistance increases the chance by 1%. So you are incentivized to build this guy full of resistance to put the buff prohibition up. The downside is he puts a lot of debuffs up, so you kind of want accuracy. If you're building high resistance, high accuracy, then you haven't got any other stats, and that leaves you quite squishy. So a little bit confused on this one. When Halramar is on the battlefield, enemies' ultimate energy obtained through skills and artifacts will be reduced by 80%. This is nice. Obviously, Adolphus, Megan, people like that are boosting ultimate gauges. This is going to help slow that down, which is great. What I don't know is how this works with Hourglass. Hourglass grants 100 bonus haste, skill haste. Does this recognise that? Does it reduce that down to 20 skill haste gained from Hourglass? If so, that is incredible for PvP. I doubt it does, but I would like it to be. His battle skill commands the Budgie to deal poison damage to the enemy with the highest attack, inflicting attack penalty on them for 5 seconds, and inflicting oriented taunt. This unit forces or space attacks on the enemy with the highest max HP. It's a different kind of taunt, forcing the damage dealer to attack your tank, not your squishies. I like that. Only lasts for 3 seconds though, so it's kind of almost what's the point in having it? But again, if you're building high resistance for the passive, then you're not going to really have much left for accuracy or anything else. So in my mind, I would almost ignore the passive, which is a shame, to increase the percentage chance of that being landed. Because, I mean, let's be honest, you're not going to build 900 resistance, so, might as well ignore it. And I'd still just go for your standard accuracy, sort of survival sort of build, if you will. And his ultimate deals damage to all enemies, board wide, very nice. Inflicts recharge speed penalty, and oriented charm for 10 seconds. This is more like it. 10 seconds is more like it. Enemies' ultimate energy will be reduced by 20. So this is great. Slowing them down, knocking their turn meter, ult energy back. Yeah, very nice. But again, you're going to want to build accuracy. Kind of ignore the passive would be my advice, but not someone I have done too much testing with. So leave that in mind. And then the last one, Calavera. Now, she is the Chief Challenge reward, similar to Ardreth and Uteor and Aladia. Similar to Ardreth specifically, do not miss this woman. This woman is amazing, not just because she looks sick, but her kit is fantastic, and certainly one you're going to want inspirations of as well, so save your sand core. She's a poison healer. When casting a skill, a temporary illusion is briefly generated at the hero's location. The illusion will follow the hero as they cast and produce additional effects. Now, something to note, something a few people have mentioned. We'll start with the ultimate first. So she heals all animals based on defense and grants defense up. Now, I don't know if the defense up goes on first before the heal. I would assume not, because of the way it's worded. But it means you can make her really tanky, like Furbath. And we all know how good Furbath is with his healing. Illusion spell casting deals poison damage to all enemies with a 100% chance of inflicting attack penalty. Now, something that I've seen, something I need to test myself, witches remains you can't apply with this hero, because it is the illusion that is doing the damage and placing the debuff, and the illusion will have next to no accuracy, so you can't put illusion on with her, or you can't put witch's remains on her. However, the conch artifact might work. Something I haven't tested. I don't know if anyone else has, because that says it will place defense down if you fail to place a debuff. If we're not placing the attack down, then maybe it's a 100% chance to flip the conch. If someone's already tested that, let me know in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. but that's the way that I read it. Then her battle skill, Cleanse, a bit like Nathaniel, 1 debuff, granting recovery over time as well. The illusion spellcast has 75% chance to dispel 1 buff from each nearby enemy. Sorry, dispel 1 buff from the enemy and inflict charmed on them for 3 seconds. So yeah, the illusion just does the opposite once again here. You've got buff removal and debuff removal as well. Just a great hero. If you don't use the conch on her, perhaps the poison swamp will be good because you've got recovery over time, so you're getting multiple ticks. Yeah, sick hero, and I get one of the better looking ones as well. So there we are, guys. I have kept you for 35 minutes. I do apologise, but thank you for sticking with me. I will say aim to get a few videos out this week to catch up on the 4 days I have missed out on. This one probably going to go live Monday, at least I'm going to try to, and I'll try and get another one out every day this week. That'll be the first time I've done that, so, you know, wish me luck with my full-time job. Look after yourselves, take it easy, work hard, but play harder, and I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.